Hey everyone, welcome back to the Families Fly Free podcast. This is also going to be on YouTube if you'd like to check out the video instead. So, we're bringing to you again another bonus episode where we're interviewing a member of Families Fly Free. So, you can hear directly from them how the membership is working and how they are using miles and points to travel with their family free. So today I've got with me Amylee Udell, and she has been a member for over a year now. So I thought she could bring a good perspective of what she's been able to accomplish for her family in the past year. So I'm just going to start, Amylee, let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you and your family.
Sure. So my name's Amylee. I live in New Mexico, the land of enchantment. I blog as the Productive Mama, and so I'm always kind of looking for things that will help other families. That's sort of my goal. I have 3 kids who are teenagers and launching. So that's a little bit about me. Did you want me to talk about like how we did travel before, or what?
Yeah, so let's get into, like, since you've done this for a year, tell us the types of travel you've been able to do in the last year and how the membership was able to help you do that more affordably.
Sure. So I feel like since COVID, I've actually traveled more than we had before. And that's for a few reasons, partly because it's way more affordable now. Mm-hmm. So I joined the membership in November, December 2020, and just kind of ease myself into it because there is a lot to learn, which is why it's helpful to have you and the membership. And I think the first trip we really took was just a quick trip to visit my mom for Easter, but I was really gearing up to try to take my family to Hawaii. So that was a big, huge trip that we wanted to take last summer, and I was able to get all of our so five of us going. Our flights there were completely covered, free, didn't have to pay for those. And if I had known what I know now, I would have started working toward that sooner, because even though we traveled in the summer, but I really had to book by the spring because everybody was talking about everybody's going to Hawaii. Everybody is so.
Everybody still wants to go to Hawaii.
Right. We all want to travel. We've been cooped up. We want something maybe a little more exotic, tropical, but within the US, right? That's just easier right now to travel. So I, at some point in like March or in the spring, I said, oh, we have to go ahead and book. So if I had been exposed to membership earlier and had been able to work toward it, I know I would have gotten more, all of our flights free. But at that point, I had been able to get our trip there for free. And I think that was $1,600.
So you recouped your investment right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the first few months. So I was super happy about that. So we went to Hawaii, and then at this time I've learned more. I have some other travel goals in mind. So, you're going to Hawaii, you're going to spend money, even though you want to have savings, there's going to be some money spent. So I shifted some of my spending, knowing what I learned in the membership. Mm-hmm. So that would go toward another trip coming up.
Right.
So at that point, what did I do? I think, and I can't remember exactly what went toward what, but at that point I may have been, I think, building points to cover a trip to Europe. So I think a lot of that went toward that. So since then I have built up points to take, I'm not sure if it's 4 or 5 of us, but plenty, most of the family, to get to Europe whenever that's going to be a possibility for our family. And I don't know when that's going to be, but that's kind of what I was talking about. Hey, I'm planning ahead. That's something we're going to do in the future. So let me build towards that. And then in the fall, my daughter is in school in San Diego. So not a bad place to have an excuse.
Not at all. One of my favorite places.
So I was able to, and so this was a long weekend. I forget, 4 or 5 days, not a full week. And it was just me and my husband. Went to visit her, and we had our flights covered and our room in a nice resort covered. And that was about $1,700. I didn't have flexibility in our travel dates, so I spent, a little more in points, I guess, than I could have, using a lot of the tips, tricks, hacks that you share, but we were pretty limited, and we had to leave this day. We had to get back this day. So still, it was all covered.
Still all free.
It was still all free. So I think there was probably a resort fee or something, when you get there.
Right.
But the room and the flight were completely free. So that was this fall. And so that's, with those two, it's $3,300. But more than that, well, $3,300 in like cash savings. And like I said, I already have the points ready to go to Europe whenever that's going to happen. We don't have that.
Those tickets get a lot more expensive than, say, a round trip US,
Yeah. So, and you know what? Yeah. And my philosophy the whole time has been, even if that doesn't like cover everything, it covers a lot. It covers most of it. It's still a huge amount of savings. And then even beyond that, what I feel like I've gotten is peace of mind in general when traveling, because I still do this. I can't say this is eliminated, but this is just me. Like anytime I make a big purchase, especially a travel purchase, like hitting that final book button, I always get a little bit like, oh, did I enter everything right? Or did I miss something? Was I supposed to do something else for savings? But learning what I've learned from you, I just have a lot more confidence in booking travel in general, in how I can shift and adjust things later if that's going to be necessary, about how I'm not going to lose money if I do have to do that. Like you've taught us a lot about what we need to know to change our travel plans if we need to, and especially right now,
yes, you have to be able to be flexible right now.
Right. And so it's invaluable to know how to do that, which I knew nothing about before, and also just gives you a real confidence in booking. So that's 2021 and the travel I did and how much I've saved so far. So, I mean, to me, bottom line for anybody considering this is that right away in the first few months, I made back the cost of the membership plus.
Well, and I always try to explain it as, in couponing lingo, it's a money maker. That's how this is designed to be. So I always liken it to CVS. I don't know if you have CVS in New Mexico, but they're couponing. Sometimes you have to buy something for $1 to get 2 CVS extra bucks back.
Okay.
So that's a money maker, right? You spent $1, but you got 2 back. Well, that's what this membership is like. You do have to invest the money on the front end, but it's designed to give you way more back than what you're investing. So if you can see forward and see to the money-making possibilities, you should save thousands of dollars. And that's what we're seeing consistently among our members. So a lot of great things you said there that I want to unpack a little bit. One thing I want to note is, planning your trip to Europe. So I love the strategy of let's go ahead and collect the points because we're going to take that trip at some point. And the points that we teach in the membership don't expire. So why not be collecting points now on spending you're doing anyway? And certainly, as you mentioned, by understanding what is the best card to put your travel spend on, for example, because the spending that you have to do on that trip is just going to help you save up miles and points for a future trip, which is so great. So I don't want anyone to think, oh, we can't travel right now, so we shouldn't be doing this. I get that question a lot. Now's the time, even if you don't want to travel, to be earning the points so that when you are ready to travel, you've already got them. All you have to do is book, and I was just talking with my team this morning and how everyone is talking about going to Europe like this summer and beyond, and how the points on other airlines than we teach are like skyrocketing to like 90,000, over 100,000 points round trip. And the way we teach it is 26 to 32,000 points round trip consistently. So anyway, it's just, I think it's important to know that this huge pent up demand for travel is going to explode here at some point. And people are going to need to know the best ways to navigate. We saw a little bit of that last summer. Like there was a brief moment there where everyone felt more comfortable and it got really, really busy, and doing that. Now, another thing I wanted to mention, so that you talked about, that you were only able for Hawaii to pay, for one-way flights. And so Amylee she took a slower pace into this, which is perfectly fine. So the way we teach earning a lot of miles and points is by the proper use of a handful of travel credit cards. And so a lot of people that come to this are nervous about dealing with credit cards. And so Amylee was one who didn't want to jump in and get 3 credit cards all at once. So talk to us a little bit about that. And is there anything you would do different in hindsight? Kind of how did you start into it with just one?
Yeah. So I just did I just focused on Southwest at first. And just with that one, that's how I paid for that, the flights to Hawaii.
And that wasn't even with a companion pass.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. I had to do some, mental math and try to figure out what is my goal. And I started with the one card and I was like super happy with that. It's like, it's like, wow, look at me and look at this savings. And then I realized, oh, okay, well, they're talking about this other card a lot. Why? And that's a little scary. But then once I learned more about it, okay, that's not so scary because I see that it still benefits me with Southwest. It benefits me in lots of different ways. So then that's my primary card now. And then you talk, and this is like over months, right? This is, I'm making these baby steps. Because that's what that's what I was comfortable with. Also, I had to learn one.
Yeah.
And before I could learn another, it was like I couldn't learn just me. I just couldn't learn 3 at the same time. Anyway, so then my third one was when you were talking about the best way to go to Europe. That one took me a while to jump
and
on.
That is a little trickier than how we do Southwest. Mm-hmm.
So I had to sort of understand it. I asked you some questions and then I just sort of had to mentally accept, okay, this is what I'm doing. And then I just have to remember to switch back when I reach that goal. So yeah, the biggest challenge is I can't just tell my husband, use this card now, use this card. I have to take the cards out of his wallet. So he doesn't use the ones I don't want him to use and just say, just use this one. But it was definitely, so it was baby steps to sort of accept the credit card juggle, to learn.
And it's not a lot, right? No.
And I think it's not because I have 3 now of those, and that was over a year, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. And it was baby steps to just learn one card and get familiar with it and learn the other and then learn sort of the difference between the two. So if you're overwhelmed, because there's a lot that you can do, that's where you, Lynn, come in and help me figure out, oh no, do this first and then do this. And there were some things that you were like, if you do this, look at what you could do. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I can do that, but I could do this and I can still get, pretty much everything I really want right now, in terms of travel. So yeah, baby step if you need to. It's everybody, it's fine.
Right. So go at your own pace. There's no need to, hurry up and get through it. We have people who are more used to working with cards and they want to do more and do it more quickly. And that's okay too. But know that it is an option to start with one, see the benefits of that. Then you're more likely to go to the next one and then, and go from there. But again, you really can do our system. Our system is designed to be simple. So we're not trying to tell you to do 100 things and make it complicated. We want a very simple step-by-step process to follow. And really you can max it out with 3 cards, my system, pretty well. So you don't need to do it. And
I'm hoping to kind of
saving at 1. So
3 is good for me. I
agree. And that's what, we do it with 4. So we're very close to. I don't like to have a bunch of cards and be confused and a bunch of due dates and spins to meet. And that's not my style. So I've been able to accomplish all of the goals. Like you said, you're doing what you want to do. We're doing what we want to do. We're doing it with this number of cards and it works just fine. So I don't see a need to make it any more complicated. Okay, so tell us in terms of the membership itself. So we've talked about how you've learned how to fly free and the step-by-step process and all of that. But what other aspects of the membership have you enjoyed?
I know that I know I haven't taken full advantage of everything that there is. So because you guys have so much great information, but I also know when I'm ready for that, it's there. So, and I think the personalized plan at the beginning is absolutely fantastic. Mm-hmm. And like I said, you get it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's not going to be next month. I just, I'm going to tackle those over time. And that you also don't just give me a plan and abandon me. You know what I mean? So I get this plan and I say, Lynn, I don't think I'm going to do this part. I think I'm going to focus on this. And you say, okay, well then let's adjust it and you can do this or that instead. So, and then there's the community. Mm-hmm. There's more people and other people sharing their experiences as well. So you can go in, you have so much information about really popular destinations, but then if there's a destination that might not be as well known, the people in your community. So you can say, hey, this person lives nearby there, or I know this person took a trip there. Can you share this information with this other member? So I think those are other great things about it. And like I said, there's so much in there. So I just kind of go, oh yeah, I want to watch that. And I just put it on my list. So it doesn't have to be everything at once. When I'm ready for it, the information's there.
Right. And we do, there's over 100 videos or something in our online hub now on destinations and travel savings and all of that. And certainly when you join, you don't have to go watch all 100 videos, right? Do just like you're doing. Like we'll guide you with where to start, watch these first, and then you can kind of go explore. So yeah, like okay, we're looking for a beach destination maybe for this fall. So let's go watch a couple videos on that. And it's also designed so that there's audio versions of it as well. That was very important to me to make a podcast available of these videos and or have an app, which we have both. So you can listen to them for all of us busy moms who are doing 10 million things. We don't really have time to sit and stare at a computer and watch, a bunch of webinars. So that way you can listen to it while you're doing other things too and multitask. But there's tons of content in there for whenever you need it and are ready for it. But you don't have to go watch it all at once. I have a few people who do that.
Well, that's my nature, when I'm like, oh, I want to learn all about this. I prefer to read actually, but I want to take in all the information, but it's just not realistic. There's real life that has to happen. So
right. Yes. So you just take in what you need at the time. And another thing that I think that you brought up, is the support aspect. So like you said, as you were going through this process, you weren't left alone. You knew that if you are trying to book a flight to Europe or what, that you can email us a question, you can get on our live Q&As, you can get that personalized support specific to you versus I think, joining an online course sometimes, like you said, you get the course and then you're on your own. You can post a comment maybe or something, and might get an answer,
right.
But
yeah, you have your monthly Ask Lynn Anything, right? So it can be, sometimes I was like, this is probably pretty basic, but let me ask because it's new to me. So you get help every step of the way.
Right. And we have an email that you can always send questions to as well and get a quick answer. So, okay. What would you tell folks who are considering joining? I always like to ask this question, but are skeptical. They think it seems too good to be true. How could this really work? What would you tell them?
It does seem too good to be true, I guess, but it's real. It's not like you sign up and magically you have a bunch of money. It's
well, that would be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. But you're teaching people, how to work toward a goal, and it really works. And I came in with zero experience with any sort of, travel points or I don't know what you call it, like VIP status or any, you know, I had zero experience with that. So for me, it was, if you already know about a lot of this stuff, then maybe it won't be such a jump. But for me, it was like, oh, wow, I just booked a flight for free, you know, for my whole family. To me, that was amazing.
Is that a great moment? That's an amazing moment.
Like and I like text my husband at work, guess what I just did. So, and you will make back what you pay into your membership. And then if not, then you have a way for them to, for anybody who didn't, to, I'm not sure how you do it exactly because I've never had to do it.
Yeah, so we have a guarantee. If you don't double the money you invest in free travel, then your money back, because we see so many people like you saving thousands. So we know if you follow our recommendations, it's absolutely possible. Even if you do it slowly, it's possible.
Right. So you have that security and peace of mind too. And if you're nervous about it. And the other big thing I would tell people is it's just a repeat of what I already said, but if you're thinking, well, I'm not going to travel until, you know, COVID's over, or we're not going anywhere for, you know, until next Christmas. Now is the time to join and start working toward that trip. So you might be able to, you know, pay for the whole trip, get the whole trip for free. Most of it or all of it, if you start now and work toward that big dream trip or that big family trip that you have in the back of your mind. So even if you're not planning like the details of what day are we leaving and, you know, what hotel are we staying at, you are building your points, your rewards, whatever it is.
And the skill set for how to do this, right?
Yeah. So then when the time comes, you're like, oh, this is what I have to do now. I know I have to, you know, book it by here and book it this way. And you will, I mean, it just makes the trip even more enjoyable when you're not stressed about how much it's costing. So,
yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's a good point. That does add to this. You don't enjoy your trip as much when you feel like, oh, we spent so much money on this trip. Everyone must have an amazing time because we spent $5,000 or whatever on this.
And
trip.
That was pretty much me. I feel like before, you know, except for camping, we never took a trip that was just our nuclear family. It was pretty much always, oh, we're going to go visit this family or do this with this family. And even then, and the few times we did go on a trip just us, I was constantly looking for like the cheapest way to do everything. No, we're not going to do that. You know, I felt like, you know, I was the Debbie Downer of the trip. So it is so much more enjoyable when you're not stressed about how much the trip is costing. So anyway, so I would say if you are thinking about it and wondering when, I would say sooner. You don't wait until your trip is, you want to take the trip in 2 or 3 months, because you won't be able to build up the trip. But savings, I don't really know how to put it. It's kind of savings toward the trip. It's not really.
Yeah, you'll be able to save up your points, enough points to do it free. Yeah. Like you found with Hawaii, you can only do half of them, but maybe if you'd started sooner or moved to maybe gone a little faster, you could have done both, but that was your choice of your pace.
And if you are, you know, if you're an average family, and your spending is going to go toward this, you know, you're not going to be spending $10,000 a month or whatever for your family.
Did budget. You spend any more than you normally would? To accrue these points?
I mean, I just shifted all of our household budget. I may have, just because life was a little different for us.
But it was things you were going to be buying anyway.
Right. It wasn't like, oh, I have to go
get the points.
Yeah, correct. Did not do that at all. But it was a little bit of a shift in mindset to put our household spending on the credit card, because that's not something I did before. Mm-hmm. And what I did then is I didn't just pay that credit card once a month on the due date. I shifted so that I was really actively checking it and paying it more often than that. So that just made me feel better about.
That's how I do it too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, so if you know, just are an average family, you also probably want more time to build that travel savings. rather than thinking you can do that in 2 months before your trip. You probably can't.
One thing that's important to know here is that you can earn miles and points from your home, right? That's why you don't have to be traveling to collect the miles and points. I definitely thought that. And I think a lot of people think that. So that's why you can start the process now while you're sitting from your house, while you're buying groceries, while you're paying your utility bills. You can earn miles and points on all of that for a future trip whenever you want to take it.
Yeah, that's true. And that is, I now that you mentioned that, that is a misconception I probably had, because I remember I've actually had a Rapid Rewards membership with Southwest since I was, I don't know, 20, for a long time, decades. But whenever I looked at it, it always looked like you have to take 25 trips, or, you have to travel this much to really benefit. And I thought, well, I will never travel that much. So I thought it is pointless. Pointless. For me to even try. I'm not going to get a credit card. I just thought it requires so many trips, or so much effort that it wasn't worth it for me. So, and I think, I got on your list a long time before I joined, and what really probably made me seriously consider it was I caught a free webinar you did probably about Southwest. And when I realized, oh, that's achievable, that's not unrealistic at all, then I kind of opened myself up to the possibility of learning about traveling with points and learning more about it. But before that, I was like, no way, that's impossible. But it's not.
It is not. And would you say you spend much time on it, say on a weekly basis?
Oh, no, except for checking my bill, and maybe I'll glance at my points. I don't really think about it until I've got a trip in mind.
Yeah. So now that you know the process, it's just sort of on autopilot in your.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's the idea too. There's a little bit of front end learning that has to happen, but once you understand that, then it's just easy to keep it going always. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Let's wrap it up by tell us what you have planned coming up. Any fun trips coming up that you're going to be able to.
Yeah, well, you're up one day. We don't have that.
Yes, right.
But the points are ready. And I've always wanted to go to Savannah and the coastal islands there. I have confidently went in and bought these tickets the way that you showed me how, so that I know if anything changes, if, the way the world is right now, if something happens and we can't take the trip, I feel totally fine. And I also, went in, it's been a while, but I went in and said, hey, has anybody else traveled here? I don't know. It's not one of the most popular spots like I thought it would be. Like, I've wanted to, visit here for 25 years, but I guess not everybody else has. But you were able to answer questions. Like you said, you lived in that area.
Turns out we got married down in that area. So Jekyll Island, if anyone said that.
Yeah, so we'll be right near it. St. Simon's. I decided on.
Yeah, right.
But we'll go.
Right
we'll kayak to Jekyll or around Jekyll. So
yeah.
So that's the main thing, and then I'm not sure. We have a kid who will probably study abroad in the fall. So we're just kind of holding out and seeing what's going to happen with that, because maybe that will be a trip for us. While she's there. So
yes, that's the perfect timing.
Yeah. So and we'll just have to see again what happens with the world and how travel looks overall. But yeah, so and we do, and now before when we would talk about travel, it was like, I don't know, a pipe dream, maybe one day, and now it's like, oh yeah, that could actually happen, so it's
now you're just people who travel.
Yeah. We're just people who travel. And so it's been a shift in several ways. We had some things happen in our lives that kind of made me also say, life is short. You don't know what's going to happen. This is something we've wanted to do. And I wish I had done it earlier when my kids were younger.
Yeah.
So, and I tell everybody, this is kind of part of your role as a mom, is to help make memories for your kid. And that doesn't have to be travel. There's lots of memories, but that's something I wish we could have done more. I wish I had known about this sooner, but that's okay. We're just taking advantage.
You're doing it now.
We're doing it now, and they will remember because they're older. So sometimes I think, oh, why take your 2-year-old to Europe? They won't remember everything. So we'll just take our 22-year-old to Europe.
Yeah, so they will definitely remember, and it will still have a big impact. So awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing your insight and answering some common questions we get from folks who are considering joining. But Amylee is definitely a great example of making it work for a family of 5. Definitely getting her money back and taking it at her own pace. So I hope you can use her as an example for all of those things. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode.